It's time. Welcome back to the All Purpose Pod for an All Purpose Life, wherever you are today and however you're listening to the Call Me Mr. You, the podcast. We thank you again for making us a part of your morning, your day, and your week. We're your weekly mirror check before you go change the world, baby. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course the Twitter machine. Happy Labor Day. Good morning, brother. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
That's what I'm ready to. I
Yep.
need this one today.
Coffee in hand.
This cup of cold is yes. I need to double fist this bad boy. It's serious today, but great to have you on, man. It's funny to be here on a Monday morning because you know what that means. That means any holiday usually falls on a Monday. So it's like I think the best day for my schedule, but I'm gonna take some hits. Hopefully some folks are awake and not sleeping in. Don't mind joining the show. If not, we're gonna just have fun talking about sports. But real quick, I want to just chime in on something that I think is important. Last week we talked a little bit about part of the some history with my grandmother surrounding mental health, and you know, I used to always say, I'm gonna take a mental health break. I would always say that, but I think it's really bad application when you think about it. Because I don't want to disparage anybody that has real mental health issues. I've seen that kind of stuff up close, but mental health isn't what we cite when we are tired of our boss or our kids don't have enough discipline in their life and they're just going crazy. This is about really deep issues, and it's not. I'm learning lately that it's not about what people put on us, so we put on ourselves that creates several mental health type of issues. And I don't know. In the past few days, I saw some posts from some of our friends regarding sports. And it's like, and they talk about mental health and they're talking about how people are stressing them. I'm like, this is not really the same thing. This is kind of like apples and kumquats. It's not really the same thing. We're talking about something different here. But this is not people on Twitter not stressing you out to the point where you have mental health issues. You got to open that door for people to have that kind of impact in your life. You know, I've reached out to people on the side, DMs and private messages or whatever. You're saying, why are you letting people stress you out to the point where you are feeling as though you're dealing with some challenges in the mental health realm? How'd they get that close? How'd they get the key to the office, so to speak? How'd they get to that place where they can do that? And these folks with their die hard. I mean, I'm a die hard. Everybody I root for, I'm a die hard fan. I don't switch off. I don't change teams because of cities. I don't do any of that stuff. My four teams are my four teams. Always have been. Nothing. There's no exception. But these folks act like they are part of the team. They are so obsessed with their team. It's like there's something wrong there to me. I mean, I know diehard fans are going to hate me for saying this probably, but the truth is, you don't play for this team. You're not a shareholder. You just buy jerseys and keep their lifestyle going.
That's
You're
right.
not really,
Money's flowing in the wrong direction.
without question, you're not really a part of the team to the point where you can be out here on social media defending the team. You don't speak for them. They already have spokespeople that they pay. They don't need you to speak for the team, to speak for the quarterback who's probably getting assaulted because of his level of play. That's not your job. People talk about how they die hard and they want you to know it. They want you to know that they're real. They want you to know that they're faithful to the team. It's like the stresses you adding on to yourself. It's like it's ridiculous, and it's not the team's fault. It's not the folks on Twitter who are what they call trolls. It's not even their fault.
Yep.
All they're doing is just talking and chattering. They can't make you. They can't make you respond. They can't make you do anything. All the stuff that we talk about that we call mental health issues on social media, it's self-imposed. We put it on ourselves, and honestly, it doesn't make much sense. I know somebody who I won't talk about gender or anything, but I know somebody who is a a diehard fan of a team that I root for, and they on here daily with rants about somebody talking about their quarterback or their this. I'm like, you taking ownership of things that don't really belong to you, and you stressed out. I mean, you got tattoos and you own 12 jerseys. It doesn't mean anything. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you have elevated to some level where it's like, okay, any slander on your page about your team or your quarterback or their uniforms, and you're gonna go ballistic, you can go apoplectic. Based on what? They're not talking about you, and they are talking about you. Even then, it's still something that you don't have to accept. You don't have to. Does that make sense, bro? Am I?
No. It totally does. I mean, and some of it I think is they don't necessarily. I mean, usually people that are taking it to that level don't have a whole lot else going on, right? So that
Good
is
point.
primary focus, and so it becomes very personal for them because it occupies their life. Now, to be fair, I spent a lot of time on football, right? It just it is what it is. Love the sport, love being around it, but at the end of the day, they're not sending me checks, right? So as much as I love the Seahawks, and they'll always be my team. Definitely nothing going to keep me from doing that. But if somebody's talking, running their mouth a bunch, okay. Like I find it funny because, I'll chirp back because I'm that guy. But, but that being said, if we go and get smacked, like, am I going to be bummed that we lost? Sure. Is it going to ruin my week? No. I mean, I'll have another couple beers with my buddies the rest of that day. And then, it's back to doing what I do. So, I mean, it's just, it probably really just depends on how much other things you have in your life, how much control one thing can have.
Yeah. I mean, people out here, they seek and debate, and they're sending out these passive aggressive tweets to not any to a one person, but they send it out to everybody. Hopefully, the one person's going to see it. I'm like, it's just kind of it's really just sad.
Yeah.
And like you said, to your point, if you don't have anything in your life going on, and sports is all that you're waiting for, the highlight of your entire calendar year, you're dangerously close to being a puppet. You're pretty much a puppet.
Yeah, and you would definitely be easily manipulated for sure.
Huh?
You'd definitely be easily manipulated for sure because
you like Sunday morning, man.
People will know your triggers.
You keep falling for it every time. You easy like Sunday morning. You keep falling for it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
They say something knowing that you're going to see it and you're going to react, and you do it every time.
I mean, we all have that friend that we want to mess with on a given point where you're like, I know if I drop this little dagger here, it's going to be funny. We all do it. It happens.
I don't do that anymore, man. I ain't trying to antagonize nobody now. I'm done.
Oh, no. Like in fun. So like, my buddy Neil, I'll do that to him sometimes just because, he gets politically animated and sometimes it's just funny. So it'll just be like, oh, let me just drop this little cherry right here. And then,
it's weird, man. We're not medical professionals, man. Just to be clear, we're not medical professionals. We're not telling you how to manage your life and your health and your emotions and stuff. But fans getting so high and then getting so low regarding a situation that you can't control. I like a lot of these folks, man, but it feels like it's a cry for help. Seriously. So I know we're joking and we may have a little endos about this, but it's really it's kind of serious too. Because it's like, if that's what you're doing all the time, it's only a matter of time before it kind of spirals to a place that you can't come back. AKA the point of no return. So people say they don't care, but you go crazy and somebody talks about your team. I know people who I can't even mention their team constructively. I can't talk to them about the team constructively. They actually get mad and say, "Have a good day," and cut me off. That's you know what, your quarterback needs to do this more, and the ownership needs to do this more. They get angry. I'm like, really? Why are we so invested like that? Where we are attached what we love, which is sports.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the difference between your average fan and a true fanatic, right? Because those are not the same. Those are not the same human. Your average fan. I get fan is short for fanatic, but there's a difference between a fan and a fanatic. So you're your average fan, if your team loses, you're bummed out, you're just whatever. But when you're a true fanatic, they go into every season thinking they're going to go 17-0. We damn boys, right? Like,
you read my mind. What are you doing in there, Bo?
But yeah, I mean, so it's it's a different personality trait more than anything. And I mean, I don't know. You just like I can't. I guess I can't wrap my head around being in that spot because I just don't get that high a high or that low a low on any particular thing. I tend to stay kind of towards the middle of life.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that
so
makes sense.
So some of those things I can't even wrap my head around just because I don't get to that level ever.
I ain't the guy in the fans with my shirt off and tattoos on me or
Exactly.
paint. That's just too far afield from where I'm at as a person. I guess people don't believe it because I'm sitting here on this show every week and I'm talking, but I'm an introvert, man. I mean, it's easy for me to go to sitting on the couch with my blanket, something hot, or one of our all natural energy drinks, which I love to drink. I'm good. I'm okay. I don't have to go to the next party and I don't have to go to all these 5 pictures and I don't have to do that kind of stuff. I'm good with that stuff. These folk here, they seem like they crave attention. It's really concerning, but I want to go ahead and get to the show. I just want to say, you guys, man, if this hits you in some kind of way, it's probably about you, man. So just please stop letting people on social media dictate your life and pull the strings in your life. If you love your team, that's fine. Say what you want to say and move on. Get off of that stuff, man. Don't spend so much time on social media that you are obsessed with how people feel about your team.
Well, and don't let it ruin your day.
Enough.
Like, don't let it ruin your day. That's the biggest thing, right? Like, people are going to say whatever they're going to say, and there's always going to be, especially on Twitter, right? You're going to have sports trolls. They're going to come specifically just to try and spin you up. So take it for what it is. It would be the same as if you were walking by somebody on the street and they said something dumb because you were wearing your team's jersey. What do? You keep walking. So,
well, I don't, but I get your point, though.
Well, I mean, you probably chirp something back, but you move on with your day, right? Like, you don't stand on that corner the rest of the day talking to somebody on the corner about your team.
No.
You're gonna keep walking. You're gonna move on with your day. The problem with social media is it allows you to take that corner with you everywhere you go. So you get to sit there and chirp, and you shouldn't. You should just take it for what it is. Be like, okay, you like a different team. You get your little, some talking in, and then you move on. And that's it. So, that's one thing with social media is try and treat those conversations like it's somebody you just bumped into on a street corner. Let it be what it is for that couple of seconds and then move on.
Copy that. That's what we're going to do right now. We're going to move on. I hope everybody still loves us and they understand my heart on that. I ain't going to send you no more tweets and messages. Just share my heart out here today. I hope you heard that. But let's talk about a little bit about the big story that we heard this weekend. That you and I were talking about for the entire weekend. Colorado, big win against TCU. Now, as a Michigan fan, you don't only give two flips about TCU. Everybody knows that. just to be clear, I wasn't high on them before we even played them. I wasn't high on them going into the college playoff period. I didn't see it. So for them to beat us, it was like really, very, very confusing to me. But I didn't have them in high regard. But Colorado came in. I mean, there was a whole lot of fanfare attached, with Coach Dion. You know how that is. He brings the cameras and the lights and all of the action. Yep. And they got some really good players that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But 45-42 over TCU. What did you see, man? You sent me some stats on the entire game. Yeah.
So I had them. I picked Colorado to win this game.
Did you?
I did.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, multiple shows. Go back and see. but the big thing is I figured it would be close. I figured they would get that upset win. One, TCU lost their quarterback this last year, right? So they have a new quarterback in there. So they're not going to be as good as they were in that playoff, picture anyway. Mm-hmm. But just the sheer hype within that locker room can kind of will you to a win. Now,
Okay.
after an emotional win like that, do they come out next week and win again? I don't know about that, but there were some issues with this team. Obviously, their offense can move the ball, or TCU's defense is terrible. One of the two, because they put up 565 yards on them. So the thing that is
I think both of them had a defensive problem that day. Both teams had that issue.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, there was
42, bro.
there was 1,100 yards in that game, so it like absolutely insane. But what's troubling, if you're a Colorado fan, is 510 of their 565 was in the air. They managed 55 yards on the ground. Right, they could not move the ball. So either TCU's run defense is awesome, or Colorado has some stuff to work on. Because
you know what, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. That I think Colorado has something to work on, because all of the guys that are, like, for example, they're running back. This is his job now.
Yeah,
running back. Got a cornerback. That's his primary job. They both playing wide receiver. They both catching passes. That tells me something, because I mean, if you look at the numbers, you're going to see it. I mean, Travis Hunter had 110 snaps. He had 11 catches for over 100 yards. I forgot how much it was. Okay, he did primary cornerback, and he's playing. I think what's the other guy's name? The running back. I'm blanking out on his name right now.
Yeah, I don't
know if it's Edwards, but same situation. He's out there catching passes.
Yeah,
the running back. They're not winning the ball, like you said. 55 yards. You said.
Yeah, 55 total yards.
There's a problem. That's not a abstract. That's a problem in your first game. Yeah. You don't even have your best stuff at the running game. Something's wrong there. So that could be a
sure. But, and if you're a TCU fan, even though they lost here, the thing that is encouraging about it is they went for 279 passing yards and 262 rushing yards, right? Like, that's a very nice balanced offense, which means you have to respect the run. There's nothing I saw out of Colorado that says I need to stack the box to do anything against the run. So moving forward, that may end up being an Achilles heel for them, because if you can't establish a running game, if you go up against a team that has a good secondary,
yeah,
I mean, if you're that one dimensional, it's going to be a tough day.
It's going to be a long day. I'm not even talking to folks on Twitter about this. I don't even want to discuss Colorado. In fact, every time I see posts, I saw plenty of this weekend. I don't think I liked any of them. I didn't retweet them. I don't want no contact with this. I'm gonna tell you why, because I always went on record to say that I don't think this project is going to work.
Okay.
To the degree that people may want it to. They already matched their win total from last year, so that's good. That's improvement. I'm sure they're going to exceed that.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure they win at least one more game at least. So they're going to exceed last year's.
I mean, doubling the wins.
Yeah, but I just don't. I don't see this long term. I know there was our group was having a show about the same topic, and I was like, I don't see this going 5 years, 10 years. I don't see it. One other guy said, I can definitely see that. I don't see that. I don't think Deion can make it that long. I don't think he can stand in the capacity that long.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I think basically what's going to end up happening is they're probably going to be, I'm guessing, just shy of bowl eligible, right? Because you have to have 6 wins to qualify for a bowl game. I think they're probably going to be like a 4 or 5 win team, honestly.
I haven't gotten that far.
I think Deion is probably there for 3 years, and then he tries to make the jump to the NFL or
Florida State.
Yeah, exactly, or a top level school. Yeah. So
I'm not adding to the hype machine, man.
I figure 2-3, probably 3 years where he's at, and then he'll be on the move again.
I'm not adding to the hype machine, man. I'm not going to do it, man. They got a couple of games that they're not walks in the park. They're not easy wins. I mean, they got Nebraska coming up. They got Colorado State, which is, I guess, a rivalry for them. Then you got Oregon and USC.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to walk through there without a running game in at least 2 of those situations. You better have a running game.
Yeah, they'll definitely struggle against like Oregon with no running game. That'll be tough.
USC too. You better have it.
Yep.
It's not. So I don't know what's going to happen, but they got a lot of good things going on. Coach Deion's son, Shador Sanders, who my grandson seems to love watching him. These little YouTube videos. I have no idea what the infatuation is. He plays football too, but I don't get the infatuation. But 38 for 47, 510 yards.
Yeah, no, it's stat wise, he had a hell of a day.
Yeah, Dylan Edwards, I think is the guy I was talking about. I think that's the running back, Dylan Edwards.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, him and Jimmy Horn Jr. both over 100-yard receivers. Their primary running back, their number one RB1, had over 100 yards of receiving. What did that say?
That's crazy.
Something's going on there. And I was going to talk about it last week with you, but we didn't get a chance. We ran out of time. We had so much fun last week. But I was concerned about Travis Hunter. And this guy, he has an injury history that nobody really talks about that much, but he has a history with injuries. And you got him playing over 110 snaps at cornerback and wide receiver.
Yeah.
Over 130 plays, I think it was. That's not sustainable.
No, but I don't think he's going to be out there.
It's not sustainable.
I don't think he's going to be out there every snap as a receiver.
Why not?
Well, I mean,
they already tried it in game one and shocked the world for the most part.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're thinking, so I can't say it.
Yeah, as the year goes on, I think it'll be hard to sustain that. If you want to keep him fresh, right? Like if you want to have him ready for, any kind of playoff action, you'll have to dial one of the two positions back. So maybe they find somebody at corner that can, take some reps, or realistically it'll be on the offensive side that he probably gets some, subbing out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, again, there's no way you're playing both ways all game, all year. If you want to stay healthy, it's too physical of a game.
You and I are talking about common sense stuff. That's why that's what you said should actually happen. This doesn't disparage the coach. I'm not doing that. Please don't think that. Don't at me. I'm not doing that. But I don't know that he has those kind of thoughts, because I think he thinks about things differently. I mean, I've seen enough documentaries and videos and everything about his life and the program at Jackson. I've seen so much stuff, but I feel like he just thinks, you know what? I'm smarter than the average bear. I know better than everybody else. I'm gonna do this, even though it goes against conventional wisdom. That's the vibe I get off of him. I don't know that that's true or not. If I'm wrong, correct me right here on the show, brother. I'm open to it. But it just feels like he's that guy. He's gonna do something outside of the grain just because he thinks he can do it.
Sure.
So Travis Hunter, if he makes it to the whole season healthy, I'll be shocked. I'll say something about that on this show. I said, man, I was wrong. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's hard enough to stay healthy playing one position all year. So, I mean, it'll be tough. And it'll also depend on how they use him. Do they keep him out of harm's way? Do they put him in, offensive routes that don't get him just absolutely smashed across the middle or something, because if you are playing him a little bit safer, then you're worried more about, soft tissue injuries, stuff like that, as opposed to, getting crushed across in the middle. But
oh boy,
still, at the end of the day, it's going to be hard for him to stay healthy, playing both ways all year, especially, if you happen to make it into the playoffs, because then,
right.
And that just adds more games.
That Oregon USC, those two games are going to be marquee games. If they're going to show it here locally, I'm going to be tuning into both of those games. I want to see this one. But one thing that nobody's discussing, and then we change topics, is the second half. Nobody's talking about that part. TCU drove an average of 60 yards a drive.
Yep.
You know how much 60 yards a drive, more than half of the length of the field, a drive, and score 4 touchdowns in the second half. We ain't going to talk about that?
I mean, you have to put up those kind of yards if you're going to end the day over 500.
No, bro. You know what I'm getting at here.
Yeah. No, I mean,
try that against a really good team and see what happens.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. It's as soon as you get a true test, because again, TCU had a new quarterback, so even if your new quarterback is a stud, it's hard to just come in and just ball out in a brand new system and everything. Hey, what's up, man?
Got somebody hollering at you. He ain't gonna say hi to me. Wow. That's what you doing, brother? You say hi to Bo and ignore me? You don't see me? Should I cut my camera off? What can we do over here? Wow. Let's move on, man. Wow, that's so rude, man. Right, that's fine. But let's jump into Jonathan Taylor. What a crazy story, man. He's back with the coach, in case you guys didn't know. For me, I think the pros outweigh the cons. I think I may be in the minority here, but I think it's a good thing that he's actually with the coach and not somebody else for a lot of different, especially not the Eagles. So I'm thanking God for that. But in this situation, with Anthony Richards being who he is, the way that he plays, and what the coach obviously want to try to do there, having Jonathan Taylor there, it stabilizes the offense. It gives Richardson an opportunity to, in some ways, preserve himself. He doesn't have to do as much with his legs now if Jonathan Taylor did, because the guy's a premier running back. He's going to carry the weight. He's been able to do that pretty successfully. Pressure on the opposing defense, because now you got the threat of two guys running as opposed to just one. And it's like Matt Ryan wasn't a threat to do that. He never was. Oh, well, look at this. Thank you, Key. I feel good now, but I think I'm part of this show now. I appreciate you, brother. You know what I'm saying? But that is pressure on the opposing defense now. A lot more pressure, because now you don't know where the threat's coming from, which is a good thing. So a whole bunch of opportunities to not be just keen on the run game now. So, and it helps the development, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It helps Richardson develop too. So I'm glad he's there. You agree?
But he's not, is the thing. I know he's on the roster.
What do you mean?
What he's on the PUP list, so he misses the first 4 weeks no matter what. And so then from there, because he's unhappy, doesn't want to be there, soft tissue. He can just say it's bothering him. He doesn't have to play. He's got to come in for one game to make sure he gets paid. But outside of that, he doesn't have to actually contribute. So he could essentially just say it's injuring him the whole time. And I agree with you. Like they should have helped the guy out. But I mean, at the end of the day, especially on some of these bad teams, you might see guys be like, hey, I'm not going to go out there and get hurt on a team, especially on a, contract year.
Yeah.
I'll sit it out.
I think we both seen that before. Yeah.
For sure. And I could see Jonathan Taylor doing that, especially in this situation, because, if he was there and he got paid and he was happy, I agree with your take for sure. Like, he would absolutely help Anthony Richardson out, because everyone has to respect the fact that Jonathan Taylor can run it on you. But I don't know that we see him a ton this year.
I hope that's not true. I think the Colts fans, I don't know a whole lot of them. I know a couple. I think they deserve to have something good on the field.
For sure.
And Jonathan Taylor being there is great. I think the Irsay factor is where the problem seems to be originating from.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the whole team, because they got a pretty sweet offensive line. I think somebody went out from their line, I don't know if it was Quentin Nelson. Somebody went out in the game this preseason. I don't know if he's out for the year, or I don't know what it was, but it was somebody that went out. But they got a sweet offensive line overall, and they got some talent, man. I mean, I'm going to be drafting high for a while, but there's worse problems to have, and that team could turn around and be contending in the AFC South in a couple of years. That's not totally out of the realm of a possibility, but I think the Irsay thing, that's where the problem is.
It definitely made it worse, right? Because, he already wasn't happy, and then Irsay decided to become Jerry Jones over the last couple of years and start saying dumb stuff in the media. And, all it did was make a situation that was already, tumultuous worse.
Yeah, it's not his comments, he's saying stuff like, oh, this whole situation really sucks. I don't know if that's his way of giving contrition. I don't know what's happening there, but I'm hoping that he recognizes his part in this and deals with the issue and make that thing right, fast. I'm not saying JT should be the highest paid running back, I'm not even sure who should be that. Maybe we can talk about that at a later date.
I'm actually not entirely sure he's still on this team by the trade deadline.
There's a good chance he's not. I think they got. I think it's October. They have a chance
Yeah,
to play them.
week 8, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's probably about there was a couple of teams that were actually really going after him.
Mm-hmm.
Something was surprising. I heard the Packers. I'm like, the Packers. What are you trying to accomplish? The Packers and another one too. They already got 3 running backs. I'm like, what are you talking about? But
Yeah,
the Packers, that was a surprising name. Aaron Jones doesn't need to share space with AJ Dillon is doing fine back there where he is. That's a great combo between the two of them. So I don't understand, but there's still people out there who want to have him. So good chance that can still happen. But let's go ahead and keep on moving, man. Michael Thomas. I don't know. I saw an article several weeks ago. And it just kind of stuck in my craw a little bit. I think somebody asked. Well, I think I asked myself the question: was Michael Thomas a certified Hall of Famer, or does he need Derek Carr to help him get there? And I want to ask that here on the show with you, man, and get your thoughts on that. Do you think Michael Thomas is I mean, look, here's the numbers. 9th most all time. I think 1725 in yardage. 149 catches. I think it was in 2019 when he was really, really healthy. Earned Offensive Player of the Year, first time All Pro honors and stuff. All the things that they care about for the Hall of Fame for some reason. That was his 4th year of 1,000 yards, and 3rd 100 catch year. Yeah, 100 catch, 3rd time catching 100 yards in his first 4 NFL seasons. So I mean, those are good numbers. Hey, Mom. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey.
So I don't know if that's enough for the Hall of Fame. What do you think? I mean, do you think that his time with Derek Carr is critical to that happening, or do you think it's already locked in already?
Yeah, I think he needs a little bit more. So his time with Derek Carr is going to matter. That being said, Derek Carr's finally in a good spot, right? Oh, yeah. So it's funny because there's a lot of Derek Carr hate, and I'm not a huge Derek Carr fan by any means. But
who hates Derek Carr?
The media, really.
What's the hate? The dude don't bother nobody.
Yeah,
go out there and play. I mean, and throw the ball. I mean, he throws it a lot.
He does. He puts up stats. Like I don't really understand some of the hate that he gets, but it's definitely out there for sure. But the big thing is this time around, I mean, he's not that top level elite guy, right? Like he's not that dude. But
fair.
He's a very good quarterback. And he was playing on a team with no defense, right? Like they had one of the worst defenses the entire time he was with the Raiders. And so this time around, he's going to have a competent defense. It's not elite or anything, but it is a defense that can get him the ball back if he makes a mistake. Because again, he's not that elite dude. He's going to make some mistakes.
It just act like the defense is going to be elite. I'm like, where'd they get that from? I don't get that. I'm hearing that. You haven't heard that about the Saints defense? They think it's going to be one of the best top 10 defense. I'm like, it is?
I don't think it is. I think it's going to be kind of middle of the road, but it's going to look better than it is because of their division. Because their defense is going to look pretty sharp against their division rivals, right? So there's 6 of your games.
Because they put you in top 10, though.
No. They won't be top 10. They're going to be middle of the road. Like it's not an elite defense, but it's a competent defense, and that is a huge step forward for what Derek Carr had before. So if Carr can stay offensively about where he is, and then he has a defense that can actually get a stop and actually get a turnover here and there, then his mistakes don't automatically lose you a game, right? So, because there were plenty of games where he would throw for, 300 yards and have 2 touchdowns and a pick, but that pick would lose them the game because their defense couldn't stop anything. So, in this case, they have a defense that can potentially get you the ball back or, get a stop at a crucial moment. So it's going to be a good situation for him, and everybody on that offense is going to benefit from it.
Yeah, and Key's right, man. He throw over 4,000 every year.
Exactly.
I don't think he's been under that at all. And he's had talent, and he's had. I think one of the things that this is the Raiders thing. It's not really a Saints thing. Hopefully, it's not going to be a Saints thing because what they have is much better. But they always had at least 1 or 2 really strong players at either running back or wide receiver. That was never the issue there.
Yeah.
when
No,
you
his
key in
problem
on,
is always just lack of defense.
I don't think that's the only problem. I feel like because like I think I mentioned this to you a while back, but Devontae Adams being who he is, I mean, you key in on him, double covering him. That means somebody else got to be there.
Yeah.
They never had that. So so that was a big problem. Josh Jacobs was doing his thing. He was running for 1,100, 1,200 yards. He was doing his job. That was never an issue for me. I don't know who the backup is, but that's a different topic. But there was never anything on the other side for Derek Carr. Now he has that because
Yeah.
Michael Thomas is on one side. You got Olave, who's getting a whole bunch of projections to be a serious player this year. And I think they have some other parts too in the offense. They got more than what they had before. And Kamara being healthy and being on the field is going to play a big part. It's going to be unlike what the Raiders have had, man. But yeah,
For sure.
what do you think about this thing with Doug Peterson, man? This is so funny. I heard this thing. I was driving, and I'm like, I wonder if this is a good topic for us to talk about on the show. His son Josh was a tight end, one of 4 on the team. Yep. They were only going to keep 3, so they cut him. And I laughed. I'm like, how's that going to spend at the house with mom? You just cut her little baby boy Josh, right?
Hey, work is work. Work.
Yeah,
work.
I understand that, but is that a real thing in people's households? He's back on the practice squad, from what I understand. I just read it this morning. He's back on the practice squad, so all is right and well again, I guess. But would you ever want to do that? Coach your own child in professional sports? I ain't talking about no pee-wee and wiffle ball league. I'm talking about professional sports. Would you ever want to coach your child?
I mean,
you ever want the pressure of having to do that?
Again, work is work. Like your family action, once you step in them doors, it ain't it, right? Like you're there to win. So if your kid or brother or whatever the situation, if they're not your best option, they're not on the field. Because as a business owner,
okay,
I had to let them go. It just is what it is. It doesn't change the fact that they're my friend. It didn't work in the situation. And, you'll end up getting a lot of props around that locker room for being able to make that distinction, because it's not, nobody's going to be like, oh, it's nepotism why this person's here. It's no, like he literally cut his own kid. We better come and ball.
That sounds great, Bo. But you know what? I'm not sure that. Are you telling me that from your professional experience, that's what you've seen? That same attitude. That's what you've seen. I mean, that's what you're saying.
So it's a personality type. So some people can do it and some people can't. Like for me, I was able to do that. I know people that can't fire their friends and family, and they should never hire them because they don't have the ability to make that decision. For me, if you've ever seen me working, I'm in work mode, and that just is what it is. So like I'm making decisions for my business to succeed. And
that's why you answer my calls?
Well, yeah. I'm like, nope. But no, I mean, it is absolutely a personality type thing. So some people can kind of compartmentalize that and separate it, and some people can't. And if you can't, then you should have those people in the room to begin with, because you're not going to be able to be objective and make that happen. If you can, that would be a great situation to be able to watch your kid come in and grow with the system and whatever, provided they're able to.
That's a funny story.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So once you get back home, will it become a conversation? I mean, maybe, but at the end of the day, his kid is also a professional. He knows that his dad has to make that 53-man roster.
I love to be in this world that you're in.
Again, I've been a business owner.
I don't know.
That's where my brain goes.
I honestly, okay, now my dad's no longer here, and he wasn't really involved with sports, military man and everything. But if he cut me, he needs to retain 3 tight ends, and he cut me. Okay? I'm not saying I was the best of the 3, but I'm like, but this is the way I ain't going to feel something. I'm like,
yeah, like you're going to be bummed out as the player, sure.
Dad cut me. Like, Dad, I don't have no credit with you, nothing. I can't. You can't work me in. That's just me. I'm just thinking.
I want to review some tape. Bring this jumbotron over here. Let's see what we got.
Yeah. Also, Kevin said that Jamal Williams is backing up Kamara, which I did not even know.
What's that?
Jamal Williams is backing up Alvin Kamara in New Orleans. I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's I like him.
Yeah.
Always have. Thanksgiving table is going to be funny. You got that right, Keith. Well, we're going to pivot a little bit because we got time because we had a little bit too much fun. So some things are going to hold off until next week. But I want to talk about the NFL cuts because if I wait another week, it's going to become really antiquated news. But there's some names that shocked me.
Yeah.
I'm sure you might have some as well, but some names that shocked me that they got cut. I'm like, really? Now, bear in mind, they may be on some kind of practice squad or they got picked up. I don't know that, but some names that hit me, Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
From the Kansas City Chiefs. I was shocked by that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he had some issues with injury, but he wasn't a bum. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can put him on practice squad like everybody else. He was just straight gone. I mean, he was before Pacheco came in, he was the guy. I forgot the backup that was playing behind him, but he wasn't getting no work. Maybe and his name is escaping me as well, but he was a wide receiver. They had him playing running back for the Chiefs. Mm. And then he went to New England. I'm blanking on his name too. Y'all forgive me, you guys. I forgot his name, but he was the facto running back.
None of them are huge shocks to me. I mean,
you're not shocked by Edwards-Helaire?
After watching D-Hop just get straight cut, it was just
the same thing as this.
Man, it like
that wasn't an NFL cut per se. That was
no, but because cuts like that happened this year, it's just, I mean, nobody's safe. Like there is, there was a lot of higher level dudes that were just like kicked out the building this year, and so I don't know. It's just a really weird offseason. Like running backs can't get paid. High level guys are getting cut that aren't old. They're not out of their primes really.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's weird because I mean, some of it could be, cap spacing.
Bo's dad is in the conversation. Bo's dad is cutthroat too, Mom? That what you saying?
Yeah. If I was a chump, my dad would fire me for sure. Absolutely.
I love it.
So
Mom,
yeah, no,
bring some more stories, Mom. We need to have more of those on the show.
We ain't got time for that.
Bo in his diapers. That'll work too. Go ahead, say that.
We ain't got time for all that.
I mean, yeah, man. I'm trying to figure. I mean, is something going on that's outside of the norm? Because this is kind of weird to me. I mean, guys some of the guys were on our team so I noticed it, like Jameson Crowder and Cole Beasley. I was excited about these guys. I'm like, these guys are veterans. They know how to spread the field. They got speed. They know how to run routes. I'm like, we could use that. Daniel Jones would love to have that. Both of them guys is cut. James Robinson. It wasn't but 3 years ago, 25 years old, over 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns. Couldn't beat out Matt Breida.
Yeah, I mean, some of these teams are just trying to get younger, so they don't want to have these older guys on the roster, especially
because 25 years old.
Yeah, but if you can get somebody for free out of the draft, I mean, especially when you look at, especially when you look at a draft that there were a lot of skill players in. So, you were able to pick up dudes. I mean, a guy that made the 53-man roster for the Seahawks, Bobo, he was balling out for preseason.
I remember him.
Right? And he was an undrafted free agent. So, I mean, there was a lot of talent to be had out there, whether it was in the draft or undrafted, or, I mean, there was just a ton of skilled players. So you're kind of seeing some of these guys that still command some money that, they're getting cut because they got a guy for free that was undrafted, or they picked him up from the USFL or the XFL, or, I mean, so it's interesting to see how some of these guys are getting moved out of the building. And, at the end of the day, it's money, right?
I guess so. I mean, your boy Jalen Rigg, I think his name is in there too. I was shocked. I was shocked by Bailey Zapp, man. I was shocked by that. I'm
Well,
like,
so that's a different animal. Like that was so weird because Malik and Zappy were both cut. So the 53-man roster was set. They had one quarterback on the roster. That was crazy to me. Now they both cleared waivers and they're both back on the team on the practice squad. But to go through that 53-man roster and only have one quarterback was crazy.
That's dumb. It's the actual response. That's crazy to me. Lyle Collins is another name. Melvin Gordon. I expected that to happen. I saw that one coming because the guy Keaton Mitchell, he's out there smoking it right now. So there was.
Well, and I mean, Melvin Gordon is now a couple of years removed from his better years with the Broncos, and then he started the year with the Broncos, fumbled like every game until he got released. He goes over to KC, doesn't gets a ring, right? That's like not contributing on the group project, but you still got an A.
Participation trophy. How I love those. Not your boy Albert Okwebunam. He got traded to the Eagles because I knew he was a goner because Sean Payton was raving about him in an article or something about how great a game he had in preseason. Said he's gone. Mm-hmm. When I hear all that praise, all that effusive praise, I'm like, he's gone.
Especially in the preseason. Like if your coach is hyping you up in the preseason, yeah, you're not on the team you're on.
Maybe the Eagles, which is like they got a big talent literally in that man. So man. We're gonna have to pass by a whole bunch of stuff, man. Because our time is getting short.
No. That's why I didn't really add to the list today. I was looking at it like, there's no way we're getting through that.
We need a whole bunch of stuff on the table, but I want to talk a little bit about week 1.
Yep.
Just a little bit. We're gonna do it again next week. It will be week 2, but the week 1 is already here. We're here now. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
First day we play ball, right?
You know it.
I don't know who's on the roster for you guys. I mean, nationally. Who are they showing for week 1 for you?
What do you mean? Like guys that are going to be highlighted, or
are you going to see that? You can see it in Seattle, right? TNF.
Oh, of course. Yeah. It's on Prime. Yeah, it's on Amazon. So
who's playing again?
Everybody gets that one.
Who's playing again?
This is the Lions Chiefs. It's going to be a great way to kick the season.
I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to talk about. Okay.
Yeah.
So this with Chris Jones, bro. This is crazy to me. I went in to go look at me. I don't think I talked about that yesterday at all, but I wanted to go in and see what the issue was, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, he's sitting out, and his teammates are going on podcasts, like Travis Kelce and his brother saying, well, Jason saying, please stay away, so we ain't got to play you in week 8. That's different. But Travis Kelce out there begging, we miss you, man. We need you, man. Please come back. I mean, he's saying this on a podcast.
Yeah.
So I went in to go look at the numbers. They say he's in the top 8 defensive tackles. Mm-hmm. So I went in to go look and see what the numbers look like. I know he's making $20 million.
Yep.
That's what Chris Jones is making. He's not happy with that, obviously. 8 defensive tackles make more than he's number 9. 8 DTs make more than he does. So I went to go look at this thing. I said, what are we talking about? Aaron Donald, 31.6. Okay. I don't even know how much career he has a desire to do, but 31.6 right now. Quentin Williams is $24 million, right? That contract is, I think it's the midway point of it. I think something like that. Jeffrey Simmons from the Titans. I forgot the number, but I didn't look it up because it was just like it was higher than 20 million. Put it like that. Deron Payne from the Commanders. My guy from the Giants, Dexter Lawrence. Brand new contract, I think it was. So I wasn't moved by that number too much. Javon Hargrave. I think he's on the Eagles, but I forget. DeForest Buckner, you know him.
Yep.
He's one of the Niners. All these guys make more than Chris Jones. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to you? Because it makes no sense to me. The reason why I'm excluding Lawrence is because Lawrence, that's a new contract.
Sure.
You know how that works. They always get.
Yeah. The next one up was always the most.
Exactly. The other guys, I don't understand why the Chiefs don't want to give him that money. What are you thinking, man? This going to be a big impact on that game. He plays a part that you don't always see in the stat sheet. When I was running fantasy leagues, I won offense and defensive fantasy leagues for about 15 years.
Okay.
I was strung out on this stuff. And I ran Chris Jones every time I got a chance to grab a DE or a tackle. I think he played both. I went ahead and grabbed him. He was my go-to guy on defense every time I got in the draft because he made an impact. He made an impact in sacks. He made an impact in in hurries. He made an impact in tackles. He made an impact in a lot of different areas. And it's like everybody that watches the Chiefs knows the impact that he makes. I don't care if you hear his name called all game. Trust me, he's making an impact every single play.
Yep.
Why would they pay him this money?
The stat in that group that I don't know why it doesn't get more attention than it does is quarterback hurries. Like, yeah, it's great if you get home, but that's not where your biggest impact is generally felt, right? You can overcome a sack, but if you are moving that quarterback off his spot all day, well, that feeds your secondary, right? All of a sudden, that pass isn't crisp, right? It's a little wide or a little high. It becomes a defensed ball or a pick or something like that, and that's all from dudes that can move your guy off the spot. Yeah, it's great if you get the sack, but I would take 20 quarterback hurries over 4 sacks anytime.
Yeah. I don't know how this is going to fly, but they need him in this game. Mm-hmm. Not because the Lions are a juggernaut, but there's a lot riding on this game.
Well, and the Lions could score points, right? They were a top 5 scoring offense most of last year. I mean, they can score points, and their defense is going to be better this year than it was last year. They made some moves this offseason. Some of the guys have been there for a little while, getting more familiar with the system. So that defense should make a step forward. So if the offense can stay similar to where they were, and that defense can, step up, and instead of being the worst defense in the league, being, 16th or 17th, right? Like that is a huge step forward. And, KC does have some issues, right? Like they don't have the burner wide receiver. Obviously Mahomes is Mahomes, so he can make everybody seem to work. But, I think this is going to be a closer game than some people think it should be. I do have KC winning this game, but I think it's going to be a tight game.
I'm good. I value Chris Jones that much that I'm concerned about this.
Yeah.
If he's not playing in this game, I'm concerned. I'm sitting here looking like, okay, who's the backup? I don't even know the guy. Mm-hmm. Tashawn Wharton. I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
That's the back. That's the backup.
It's funny. This opening
he's guaranteed new to this whole NFL situation. It's guaranteed. I've been watching this game so long. I know people's names at the very least. If I don't know your face, I heard your name before. This man is brand new, and behind him is another brand new guy. So what that tells you is that Casey doesn't have depth in this area.
Well, they've lost some depth over the last couple of years, really all over the field. So
one guy suspended.
What's that?
A minute who was suspended for however long. Yeah. They got depth issues back here. You really kind of want to have CJ on the field.
Oh, for sure, sure.
The Lions are going to become. They're going to be hunting, and Dan Campbell. I think he's smart enough to recognize that there's a hole there.
For sure.
And they're going to work that bad boy. Whoever's going to be there, Tashawn or Keandre, they're going to work them boys like they've never been worked before.
Yep. No. Campbell's a good coach. Like he will scheme at those holes for sure. This opening weekend is actually kind of awesome with what it is with their lineup, right? So you kick it off Thursday night. You got Lions KC. It's going to be a good litmus test for where the Lions are. It's also going to give us an idea of kind of where KC is, right? Where they've lost some guys. And then you look at the Monday night game, Jets Bills, right? We get to see if all this noise that surrounded the Bills is going to affect that team, or is Rodgers really that answer for the Jets, right? Like we're going to get
a O-line sucks. It's not going to be easy.
That's going to be a battle, right? So that's going to be a cool game to watch. And then on Sunday, I think the afternoon game, or maybe it's the night game. I guess I don't remember offhand. Is Bengals Browns. that's going to be another one. Is Deshaun with an off season with these guys? Is he going to, kind of come back to form at all? I don't think he's going to be what he was in Houston, but as long as he's not what he was last year, this team has a ton of nice pieces. And then on the other end, you have the Bengals. Burrow's not going to be able to run around, right? He's coming off his injury, and their secondary, they lost in the offseason. So that's going to be a very different team than it was last year. So
absolutely.
There's a few different matchups through this weekend that are going to be really good games.
It's going to be fun. I'm excited. Like that Jets O-line, man. You think you can ignore that and get around that? Aaron Rodgers isn't that kind of quarterback. Mm-hmm. He used to run around and move, but I don't see so far. I don't see the kind of mobility that he may have had in the past.
He'll still scamper off and pick up a first down here and there. Like he's still going to do it.
Yeah, I know he will, but I think it's something to watch because they probably. The only reason why I know it's going to be an issue because I seen it maybe last year to a degree, and the year before that with the Giants. Mm-hmm. They had some promising things going on, but they had issues on the O-line, and I saw what happened. You know what I'm saying? You can't fix them with some UDFA guys. You can't plug it and make it work. It's not happening.
Yeah.
And you're probably not making a trade either. So it's like they got to live with that for the whole year. I think it's going to be a little bit harder than what they thought. But you ready for a game, brother, before we close the show out?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to play offense, defense.
All right.
Now, this is one time where you've been a little bit better than normal. But 10 teams, 10 questions. Who's the most likely to have the best season? I got some offense against offense, defense against defense, offense against defense. I got it a little bit mixed up. 10 teams, all right?
Sure.
And get ready. You're about to hear the game music. All right. For Houston, cornerback Derek Stingley Jr. or tight end Dalton Schultz on a one-year deal. Who has the better season? I put Schultz.
So it's going to be Dalton Schultz. And why I say that is with a rookie quarterback, a lot of times it is fast for you, and all of the rookies this preseason have struggled. So the tight ends on those respective teams are going to get some work because they're going to need those outlet quick throws. The cornerback, even if he has a good year statistically, it's probably not going to look amazing because they're going to spend a lot of time on the field.
Absolutely. I'm thinking Schultz. I think that he's going to be a safety valve for the quarterback.
Oh, for sure.
San Francisco, wide receiver Brandon Ayuk or edge rusher Nick Bosa?
Well, since Bosa is still in a contract dispute and not on the field, I'm going to go with Ayuk.
Oh my God! You know he's going to get on that field. Okay, if he's on the field, who has a better season?
That defense is stacked. So Bosa's going to end up putting up numbers like he did last year. Honestly, I think that defense is still a top 5, even if Bosa's not on the team. So they got a lot of nice pieces all around the field. Obviously, they want him back because he adds that element that you can't replace. Like, he's that top level guy. Clearly, they're going to pay him at some point, probably before the season kicks off. I would imagine they probably Friday afternoon they get it done or something. Okay. But I can't imagine they're going to let him sit. But maybe they do. That being said, Ayuk is going to have a nice season, but there's so many options.
Hurry up.
There's so many options. But yeah, I'm going to go Bosa if he's there week 1.
Me too. All right, this one's a hard one for me. Chargers, wide receivers Keenan Allen or Mike Williams?
I'll go Keenan Allen.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't have an answer. I have no idea which one. Because both have injury issues.
Yep.
Which made the question more fun.
Well, I'm assuming everybody's healthy in these scenarios.
So if he's healthy, you still going to give it to Allen over Williams?
Yeah, I think so.
Because Williams is more of the, I guess, the quote unquote, the deep threat.
Exactly, which means you get less targets. So I'm gonna go with a guy that is used all day.
Okay. That's a push for me. I don't know which one. I see it the other way, but I'm not sure. All right, Philadelphia. Jalen Carter, the D line, phenom, or running back DeAndre Swift.
I'm going to go with Jalen Carter. He's going to make an immediate impact on that team. And the problem with being on that team as a running back is your quarterback can run. So some of your touches aren't going to be touches for you. I'll take Jalen Carter in this.
I'm going the same way. Baltimore, wide receiver Zay Flowers or Rashad Bateman?
Zay Flowers. That's going to be good to watch because of the way they're probably going to use him. He's going to be that slot guy, so he's going to get some targets.
All right. Going back to the Jets, Quinnen Williams or edge rusher Jermaine Johnson?
I'm going to go Quinnen Williams.
That was a push me. I wasn't sure about that one. Why you like Quinnen real quick?
I think they actually kind of will help each other out because you can't focus on one or the other. So there's going to be some opportunities from the inside where Johnson gets picked up on the outside double team or something.
Okay. I like Jermaine Johnson for higher sack totals, but I don't know about
sack total. Sure, but like I said earlier, I like quarterback hurries more than sacks.
Yeah,
I like a disruptor as opposed to you're on a highlight reel, you get that Sports Center music in the background, but you still lost. Like give me someone that makes you uncomfortable all day.
Copy that. I like that. All right, New York Football Giants, go blue. All right, linebacker Isaiah Simmons or edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau.
This one was a push for me. This one I wasn't really sure. What do you got?
I pushed.
Yeah. I did.
Honestly, if we're looking at just everything, including the intangibles, I'm going to say Simmons because of how he's going to be used probably.
I give you that.
But as far as just raw, like number that you can see, like stats and that kind of stuff, that'd be Thibodeau, but like that. All right. This one was a tough one, Method. The next three are tough. Believe it or not. Minnesota, running back Alexander Madison, who's the de facto number one now, since Cook has been traded to the Jets. And wide receiver Jordan Allison out of USC. Who has the better season?
So
I think Madison, because I expected he would get the ball more, but I don't know.
No, so I agree with you there. It's going to be Madison because they're going to need him to step up and be that guy, right?
Absolutely.
And it's Cousins, so he needs a good running game. Like he can't be the dude back there. He'll put up a ton of yards. It just won't equate to wins. We've seen it everywhere he's been. If he doesn't have that running game, he's still going to throw for 4,500 yards. You're just going to be a 7-win team. so they need Madison to be that guy.
Copy that. Last two. Dallas, wide receiver Brandon Cooks or cornerback Stephon Gilmore?
They're going to need it to be Stephon Gilmore. And why I say that is Dak is Dak, and he's going to throw some picks, and he's going to need their secondary to get him the ball back. So they're going to need Gilmore to be that better of the two.
We're actually talking to the Cowboys next week, which is like a shocker for this show, but this is going to be we're going to stir the pot next week. I can tell already. I picked Cooks because I figured that Lamb would get a lot of attention. I'm not even sure about Gallup. He's still on the team. I thought Cooks would be the he's kind of that burner, always has been that burner. So I'm kind of thinking he might have a better more action. But last one, Miami, running back Devon Aiken or fullback Alec Ingold. That's your boy from the Raiders.
Yeah, probably Devon, just because you don't use fullbacks quite the same in the league anymore. It's not. It's not
different though.
Yeah, like he's not the A train, right? Like he's not out there just running people over. So I'm gonna go with the halfback.
He's taking passes too.
Yeah, it's true. But I'll go with the speed of a halfback over a fullback, especially on a team that has so much speed already. That's kind of the way I'm leaning. Obviously, this is a scenario where Tua's healthy and on the field, and
Thank you, Mom. You're right. It was a fun show. Thanks again, Bo. Having fun with the game there. We're going to have a lot to talk about next week. We're going to do something that we don't ever do on this show, but we're going to talk about the Cowboys. We got things to talk about. We ain't going to slam them, and we're going to just talk about the facts. There's a lot of facts to discuss. And then we're going to have our rookie watch that we didn't get a chance to have this week. We're going to bust that out next week. There's some fun names to talk about and some stuff to break down. Yep. But anything else, Bo? Show me where you can find you, man.
So you can find me on my channel, which is at football-talk. And then, of course, on all social medias, including Twitter, at Football Talk with Bo. So join us on Twitter. We chat sports pretty much all day.
Pretty much. Absolutely. Same on my side, too. They call me Mr. U. And then, of course, the podcast of the same name and the YouTube channel of the same name. Thank you again for joining us, everybody, wherever you are and however you're hearing and call me Mr. U, the podcast. We thank you because a part of your morning, your day, and your week with your weekly mirror check before you change the world. Go ahead, Bo.
All right. So almost forgot. Thursday morning, Pick'em show. My man, Mr. U, will be joining me as well.
Oh, yeah.
Our first
I'm on the calendar?
You are. Yeah. So we will be doing our first week picks for all 16 games.
Ooh.
So that'll be 8 a.m. Pacific time, Thursday morning.
Copy that. I'm ready. Oh, matter of fact, since we plugged in stuff, I forgot about this. The Shake Back Media Group is having the NFL Super Show. The last, the third of three Super Shows that they've had so far.
Yep.
And matter of fact, Bo and I will be together on that show.
That's right.
It's not going to be our show, so we're at the mercy of the show host. So
tomorrow is going to be a crazy day for me. I'll be on air for 6 hours tomorrow.
What?
Yeah. So there'll be 6 different shows on 5 different networks. Going to be a busy day.
Was that a humble brag? It felt that way.
No. It's
Mom, did you hear that? That's like a humble brag to me. What do you think, Mom?
It's going to be a busy day. It's going to be a busy day.
That's all right, man. Excited to be on a couple of shows with your brother. And we're having a great time. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thanks for sticking with us. Have a great day. Coach out.
Take it easy, guys.